Chapter 12. Natural Disasters. Nature is very powerful. It provides us with everything. Sometimes calamities are caused by nature. Such calamities are called natural disasters. Earthquakes, tsunamis, floods, droughts, landslides, volcanic eruptions, cyclones, etc. They cause damage to life and property. Although we cannot prevent them, yet our preparedness can save us from their disastrous impact. Let us read about some natural disasters and the precautions we need to take. Earthquake. Our Earth's crust is based on tectonic plates. These plates are in constant motion as they are on the Earth's mantle, which is made of molten rocks. Whenever these plates collide with each other, major or minor earthquakes occur. Earthquakes are a regular activity. Most of the time, the earthquakes are so minor that they are not felt by us. However, when the collisions are of greater intensity, earthquakes are felt strongly. The point where the earthquake starts is called the focus. The point on land directly above the focus is called the epicenter. The earthquakes are most intense at the epicenter. High magnitude or high intensity earthquakes can turn huge buildings into rubble in a few seconds. The earthquake in Nepal in 2015 caused untold misery to people. Seismograph is used for measuring and recording an earthquake. Scientists use the Richter scale for measuring the intensity of an earthquake. Precautions. Run out of the building immediately. Stand away from buildings, lamp posts, etc. During an earthquake, one should not stand near the outer walls or windows. If it is not possible to get out of the building, one must take cover under heavy furniture. There can be equally devastating aftershocks, so one should not enter the building immediately after an earthquake. Regular drills to make people aware of the do's and don'ts during an earthquake must be carried out in schools and offices. Tsunami. Tsunami is a Japanese term meaning harbor waves. There can be many reasons for tsunamis like underwater earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, or high-intensity underwater explosions. Tsunami comes when the seabed is disturbed. It displaces large amounts of water. Tsunamis only come in the coastal areas. The huge waves carry massive quantities of water and they can travel much further inside the coast, posing a threat to life and property. The fearful tsunami in the Indian Ocean in 2004 affected 14 countries, including our country, and claimed more than 230,000 lives. Precautions. People living in coastal areas must listen to the tsunami warnings and never ignore them. They should not go into the sea or near the coast. People should be shifted from low-lying coastal areas to higher grounds. Volcanoes. When the magma under the Earth's crust spills over on its surface, it is called a volcanic eruption. The molten magma under the pressure of heat keeps thrusting the crust. When it gets a weak surface, it makes an opening there. The magma that comes out of the earth is called lava. Huge amount of ash, molten rocks in the form of lava, and gases erupt from a volcano through a vent. When a volcanic eruption cools off, it takes the shape of a mountain. The bowl-shaped hollow formed at the top is called a crater. Although the volcanoes have a very long lifespan, ranging from a few years to hundreds of years, we can classify them on the basis of their erupting histories and frequencies into the following. Active volcanoes. The volcanoes that have erupted in the recorded history or which might erupt in the near future are called active volcanoes. Mount Etna in Italy is an example of this type of volcano. Dormant volcanoes. The volcanoes which have not erupted for a long time but have become active in the recent past are called dormant volcanoes. Mauna Kea in Hawaii is an example of such volcano. Extinct volcanoes. These are volcanoes that have not erupted since long and have shown no sign of any kind of activity. Mount Kilimanjaro in Africa is an example of extinct volcano. Precautions. The known sites of recent volcanic activities should be avoided for habitation. The signs of eruptions are visible much before the actual eruption. People should immediately evacuate an area surrounding the volcano in such case. People should be made aware of the risks and the measures to be followed during the evacuation procedure. Floods. Sometimes the water in the rivers overflows and moves into the dry lands and submerges the land. This causes floods. Floods have been the most commonly known natural calamity in human history. Floods generally occur when there is a heavy rainfall during monsoons and when the mountain snow melts on a large scale. Flash floods occur when there is a cloudburst, which causes heavy rainfall in a small area. Another reason for flash floods is breaking of dams and barrages that release massive quantity of water at once. Floods not only cause loss of life and property, but also many waterborne diseases. Shortage of clean drinking water, accumulation of street refuse in water, floating remains of humans and livestock pose a severe health hazard in the affected areas. Precautions. Flood-prone areas should be built taking into consideration the inflow of water during floods. The drainage system of such areas must be made more adaptive to floods so that water can be drained easily. Evacuation measures should be made adequate for such flood-prone areas. Adequate quantities of food, water, medicines and other necessary items should always be stocked for emergencies. Drinking water must be boiled before use. Afforestation is a mandatory precaution for the flood-prone areas. Droughts. Drought is another common natural calamity that causes severe and economic hardships for humans. Drought is the extended period of lack of rain or water replenishment. It can cause severe damage to agriculture, livestock, and humans. Precautions. Proper reservoirs and water tanks need to be built and maintained to conserve water. Rainwater harvesting measures need to be implemented strictly in drought-prone areas. Cultivation of drought-resistant crops such as maize, millets, etc. should be encouraged. Water storage structures like dams should be built in such areas to supply water in times of drought. Droughts. Drought is another common natural calamity that causes severe and economic hardships for humans. Drought is the extended period of lack of rain or water replenishment. It can cause severe damage to agriculture, livestock, and humans. Precautions. Proper reservoirs and water tanks need to be built and maintained to conserve water. Rainwater harvesting measures need to be implemented strictly in drought-prone areas. Cultivation of drought-resistant crops such as maize, millets, etc. should be encouraged. Water storage structures like dams should be built in such areas to supply water in times of drought. Disaster management. Natural disasters are usually uncontrollable. We cannot prevent them. We can only be saved by being prepared to avoid or counter them. Our preparedness can help us to face natural calamities. Disaster management stands for a wide range of activities initiated to control disasters or emergency situations. It includes steps right from creating awareness among people and preparing them before a disaster to post-disaster activities such as relief and rehabilitation. Forewarned is forearmed. If proper early warning systems are installed in areas prone to natural disasters and people are adequately trained, then the risks of damage could be minimized. Inclusion in elementary education. Children should be taught and trained in measures to take during natural disasters through mock drills and exercises. Formation of emergency response teams. Emergency response teams would be better prepared to respond quickly to emergencies like earthquakes, tsunamis, floods, cyclones, etc. than other civic agencies.